Bancho Digimon, one of the Digimon groups that I am requested most often to do an evolution lines video for. But would they have evolution lines? On today's video, let's find out. What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome back to another video. And yesterday I'm talking about the Bancho Digimon. First of all, would Bancho, upon getting their requirements to be Bancho, simply just warp Digivolve to Mega and gain the Bancho title? I think probably yes. Whether that original Digimon, say Leomon for BanchoLeomon or Lillymon for BanchoLillymon, was at any level, I think they would just warp Digivolve to Mega. The Bancho title being something that Digimon has earned through its combat prowess, lone wolf nature, delinquency. So instead, I'm going to talk about these evolution lines as if a Bancho Digimon lost power. I think if a Bancho Digimon de-digivolved or entered the human world in a situation like Digimon Adventure 02 where they de-digivolve outside of the digital world, I don't think they're going to just suddenly lose their Bancho title right now. It would be pretty funny if, for example, BanchoLeomon de-digivolved down to a BanchoLillymon or a BanchoLillymon. Probably less likely. Because Bancho is such a distinguished title these Digimon have to earn. So instead, I'm going to make a line focused on tying into the concept of their archetype, so Leomon. But also, where possible, I'm going to try and introduce some elements of what it means to be a Bancho, or at least in the concept of Digimon. A line focused on power, combat ability, hand-to-hand combat specifically, and delinquency where available. I'm also going to, of course, include the namesake Digimon that just has to be in their line, which makes things interesting, as I say, because some namesakes are different levels to others. And I'm going to try and incorporate the card game because all the Banchos have been in the card game, and that's one of our best insights into what Bandai might think the evolution lines for them will be. I'm also choosing specifically lines for these guys because, well, lines are easier first and foremost, and because they're popular with Digimon fans, but also because I'm thinking of these like they are anime characters. BanchoLeomon showed up in Data Squad, BanchoMamemon showed up in Digimon Adventure 2020, BanchoLillymon probably should have also showed up in Digimon Adventure 2020. That's why I'm doing lines as opposed to branches. And I also do think there's something direct about the warp from the default version to the Bancho that would be reflected in a Digivolution line in an anime style. So we begin with the head honcho, BanchoLeomon. And he's interesting on that front because it's been in multiple Digimon card game sets now. BT4 seemed to establish Lylmon to Leomon, of course, to GrapLeomon, then BanchoLeomon with Chaosmon on the end. And yeah, that's my de facto BanchoLeomon line too. BT13 has a really interesting deviation, and given this is the set that had a big focus on Data Squad, this very well may be the Data Squad intended BanchoLeomon line, which is Lylmon to Lyomon, ostensibly a Leomon variant in some ways, LodaLeomon, and then BanchoLeomon. And this is giving me pause for thought, truly, as this line is repeated in EX5 too, in the yellow-green cards, whereas the black-green cards are Elecmon, Leomon, GrapLeomon, and HeavyLeomon. Interesting that the BanchoLeomon line in EX5 doesn't feature normal Leomon, it features Lyomon and LodaLeomon instead. Very interesting. Personally though, I think a hybridization of these lines may be closest to the truth for a true BanchoLeomon, and particularly the BanchoLeomon of Data Squad. BanchoLeomon digivolving from GrapLeomon makes a ton of sense. It's more of a fist-based fighter. To me, LodaLeomon works way better as a HeavyLeomon prevo. It creating a very intentional branch, I think. Leomon going to GrapLeomon becomes BanchoLeomon, and Leomon going to LodaLeomon becomes HeavyLeomon. And I do understand that Lyomon is great here, but again, BanchoLeomon lore canon used to be a Leomon, so to me it has to be in here. Not just a Leomon species, but specifically Leomon himself. And I do love Lylmon as the rookie too, but I've been really obsessed with Violet Elecmon since seeing that one Digimon card where it looks like a shit heel. That really ties in nicely to the delinquent side of a Bancho that can be overlooked. And of course, Elecmon was the original Leomon rookie in basically every way. Moving over to BanchoMamemon, its card game outing is fascinating as it kind of bucks the trend we've seen so far. There was no regular Mamemon in BT8, instead giving BanchoMamemon a Catch Mamemon prevo, which is definitely fascinating, and I think the reasoning may be that even though Catch Mamemon is like a UFO catcher, BanchoMamemon has a baseball bat and has these like floating baseballs. So I think it's a catching baseballs joke. Catch Mamemon becoming BanchoMamemon, who is a baseball player, or at least has a baseball bat. Don't think he's playing sports with that bat. So that's actually a really nice connection, and I do like that. It was then given Thundermon or Thunderballmon as the champion with no super clear rookie, though I suspect Kokuamon was intended given its electric and metal elements that it has in common with Thunderballmon. And Thunderballmon is a common Mamemon prevo, even though if in my opinion this should probably be switched, with Mamemon gaining gaining the Thunder ability when it digivolves into ThunderBallmon, but anyway, that's a video for another time. I'm going to say that for BanchoMamemon, given that almost every other Mamemon is a perfect or ultimate level, BanchoMamemon could digivolve from any of them. Primarily the base Mamemon, but also Catch Mamemon for that fun baseball catching wordplay. Big Mamemon could definitely become a Bancho, but with a heavy bias towards regular Mamemon. The champion absolutely should be ThunderBallmon, as it, according to the reference book, is conjectured to be a member of the Mamemon species. And as for the rookie, I do like that card game Kakuamon connection, but another rookie that I think works well for the Steel Ball Mamemon family is Chikorimon, and I like that a lot too, especially for the Bancho line. It being kind of this like tricksy landmine, Caltrop actually, I guess, Digimon which people step on and hurt their feet, feels kind of true to that delinquent nature of a Bancho. BanchoLillymon has historically digivolved from Lillymon and Eosmon on the Vital Bracelet BE, but naturally its most common prevo is Lillymon, which of course we're going to use because it's the namesake of BanchoLillymon. Now actually I like Togemon a lot as the prevo in this line. Its boxing combat focus works nicely with a Bancho. Though if we want more Tifa vibes, I also really like Kinkakumon. Then either coming from Palmon or Tinkamon, it depends if we're going for a plant life or feminine warrior vibe. If we're going more plant life, Palmon, Togemon, Lillymon, BanchoLillymon, basically the Rosemon line from Adventure but with BanchoLillymon in the end. Or if we're going for more of a feminine warrior vibe, Tinkamon to Kinkakumon to Lillymon to BanchoLillymon. In BT5, BanchoLillymon's evolution lines seem to be either Palmon or Floramon for green rookies, which I can definitely see Floramon working. It then had Weedmon and Mori Shalmon for champions, neither of which I'm fond of, and Garbagemon, Daramon, and Pixiemon as ultimates. You know, with those eyes, there actually is a bit of visual connection between Pixiemon and BanchoLillymon. Interesting. BanchoStingmon, of course, is in Digimon Survive, but also is in BT3. There's a bunch of green Digimon in that set, but the clear rep to me for BanchoStingmon is Wormmon, Stingmon, and JewelBeamon / DinoBeamon. Others like Flymon and Dakugamon likely tap into BanchoStingmon, kind of like VPET branches, but with Ceresmon and Mega Gargamon as the other level 6 greens in that set, I think it's pretty clear a conventional evolution line of Wormmon is intended for BanchoStingmon. But choosing between JewelBeamon or DinoBeamon, I'm personally going to settle on the line that doesn't fold in any Vmon elements, keeping BanchoStingmon more of a loner like his Bancho nature would intend, even if they've made the Banchos a group, which is kind of almost at odds with the idea of a Bancho. So to me, it's going to be Wormmon to Stingmon to JewelBeamon to BanchoStingmon, really no surprises there. And finally is BanchoGolemon, another BT4 fella, and his set seemingly tees up Sonorizamon and Gotsumon, Golemon and Babungamon, and Meteormon and Gogmamon as potential prevos for BanchoGolemon. However, Blastmon is also in that set, and given that Blastmon, Gogmamon, Babungamon, and Sonorizamon debuted on the same Digimon Pendulum Z and are therefore somewhat of an evolution line, it seems to me that the line for BanchoGolemon here could be Gotsumon to Golemon to Meteormon, and finally BanchoGolemon, which, yeah, makes sense. Golemon is in the line, so I'm happy with that. And Meteormon kinda works, though I don't love the idea of going from Gotsumon to Golemon to Gotsumon Variant Evo back to BanchoGolemon. I think actually it's intended for these lines to be somewhat merged in a branching VPET style, or just to kind of come in and out of each other's evolution line. So I actually think that Sonoriza, Baboon, and Gogma are actually likely candidates for the pre-evolution, and personally I'm going to hybridize the line as Gotsumon, Golemon, Gogmamon, and finally BanchoGolemon. So that is it, what I believe are the intended and slightly my personal ideas for the evolution lines for the Bancho Digimon. BanchoLeomon, digivolving from GrapLeomon, regular Leomon, and to me the Violet Elecmon, though I do like Lylmon too. BanchoMamemon, digivolving specifically from Mamemon, but kind of any of the Mamemon ultimate perfect levels. ThunderBallmon and Chikurimon. BanchoLillymon, I'm gonna settle on Lillymon, Togemon, and Palmon. It's a very vanilla line, but I think it's probably the most likely. Also because of that episode involving BanchoMamemon in Adventure 2020, it felt like such an easy tee-up for Lillymon to become BanchoLillymon, and it never did, so I'm kind of addressing the balance here by using the adventure-style Palmon evolution line for BanchoLillymon. BanchoStingmon, another vanilla line, JewelBeamon, Stingmon, and Wormmon. I think there's not much to debate there. And BanchoGolemon, Gogmamon, Golemon, and Gotsumon. Let me know in the comments down below which groups, seasons, any kind of merging together of Digimon groups of some kind you would like to see evolution lines for. I'm going to do at least one of those a month until people stop watching them. And if you want to see these videos early, as well as get early access to things like ranking videos, quiz videos, and even giving partner Digimon videos, please do consider becoming a patron over on patreon.com/Karn EX. Thank you to ZDK14, my sovereign over there. And if you want to become an Artbringer patron, the Artbringer tier directly pays for custom art videos, so your Artbringer money goes to an artist for doing a piece of Digimon art. Thank you to everyone else who supports me on YouTube channel memberships. I appreciate you all very much, and I will see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.